So you want to learn about Avlora in an advanced way. So let's talk about Avlora. Okay, this is the Avlora, the Avlora Advanced Guide. So we're going to be going over some major things you want to be doing when running this unit. This is a New Game Plus unit. Even if you do run her on a fresh save, all of her good abilities don't really unlock until New Game Plus, or if you invest heavily in her, which is hard to do on a fresh save because by the time you get her, the game's basically over. You get her like chapter 18 or 17 or something like that. So it's either 17 or 18, I believe. But all right, so let's go over Avlora. So let's start with items. So there's basically two setups with Avlora. There's low unit count setup, which is a lone wolf build, and then there's general team comp where you're just running her as a unit. If you're just going to run her as a unit on a team, straight up, Maxwell's better in every regard. Now, however, if you're going to be running low unit count, she's insane. But the reason Maxwell's better is he just has way better mobility. His AoE is more consistent. He's a little bit more tanky with his passive res. He's just easier to play around. Her 5 move and lack of jump and like mobility is a problem when trying to be like hyper aggressive. She kind of needs things to push her forward. So she's really good with like gimmicks, like gimmick comps and turtle strats. But she is a strong unit. I'm not trying to say Maxwell's just a better unit. Like obviously Avlora's a pretty crazy unit. But if you're just trying to like plug like a melee bruiser into a team, she's kind of hard to play around. And that's worth mentioning before we start. Because while she is good, and she can carry, and she can do really well under the right situation, if you're just playing the game normally, if you're just going for Deathless, there can be a downside to running her. Now all of that aside, Bloody Cross and Risky Maneuver are two of the best melee attacks in the game, so that's something to consider about this unit. No Escape is okay. It could be better. But alright, so let's talk about the items she likes. So she likes Strength and Speed items for general team comp. Generally, if you're going to be using her as like a bruiser, like a damage bruiser off tank, which is kind of what she does, you're going to want to throw like a res earring on her. She does have pretty good durability, but if you're running a full team, she's just like slightly more durable than Roland, and people endlessly complain about Roland dying, so the only difference between her and Roland is that she has slightly more health and slightly better physical defense, and by slightly more I mean like 40 more health. So if you think your Roland is dying a lot, he has like insane movement to get out of bad situations. She doesn't. So once she is committed to a fight, she is in that fight. That's another reason why, like I mentioned Maxwell, because Maxwell can always move and then traverse. That's 8 move. He can high jump and then move. He has, like, if he high jumps and moves, that's 10 move, I believe. I'm pretty sure he can leap like 5 squares plus his 5 move. So she has to commit to a fight when she's sent in. It's hard to get her out, kind of similar to Gromma, except unlike Gromma, she definitely brings massive value to the table. Bloody Cross is no joke. It's pretty good. Let me compare it to high jump really quick. Okay, so it does more damage, and then if she gets stat boosted, it's even better. Okay, so res earring's really good, endurance earring's really good, strength and speed items. So endurance earring, res earring, I would say is her default best combo. Now getting endurance earring requires that you do the Travis route and basically give up the Roselle. You have to give up the Roselle and then revisit the village. You have to get Travis. That's where you get endurance earring. So in order to get the endurance earring, you have to do a very specific thing. But if you can get endurance earring and a res earring on her, she's ridiculous. Because when she's below 50% health, Desperate Defenses triggers, which causes her to take half damage from all sources. And then the endurance earring has this exact same effect. So she takes quarter damage and she has 2 lives. If you can get those 2 items on her, she's really good. But that's true of like literally every unit. So that aside from that, strength and speed items are good. So if you're going to be running low team comp, you can run Amulet of Immunity. This can prevent her from getting CC'd if you're trying to do like solo runs with her, which is just something you can do for fun on hard mode. But strength and speed is fine if she's not going to be dying. So in this case, I'm going to show one of her team comps, the deathball. This team comp is actually quite effective. The reason for this is she gets stat boosted. So let's look at her stats right now. So 28 speed, 59 strength, 50. So like we'll just round it up. So let's say 60 strength, physical defense, and then almost 30 speed. All right, we're just gonna start. She benefits from having fewer units. While it does make her stronger, you have to consider that removing units from turn order, even if she does like slightly more damage, has slightly better speed and stats, basically is not as effective as just running more units. However, this deathball comp I'm going to show is quite ridiculous. Alright, let's look at her stats now. Alright, so 38 speed, so she got almost 10 speed. Or actually looks like 10 speed. 66 strength, so a little bit of increased stats. She has 700 health now. Yeah, so she's a little bit more durable. Okay, so Avlora gains a set stat increase per unit not deployed. So her ability Lone Wolf, her passive, increases your stats. So per unit not deployed gives her a set amount of stat increase. In this case, we didn't deploy 5 units, so it looks like she gets +2 speed per unit not deployed. And then for physical defense, it looks like she gained around like 1.1 or 1.2 or something per unit not deployed. So she doesn't gain jump, she doesn't gain move. She also gains health, like quite a lot of health. She got almost +200 health. So we'll call that like, I don't know, would it be 40 per unit not deployed, roughly speaking? Alright, so we'll just park her over here for now. We'll have her use Spare No Effort. Actually, we'll put her here. This gives her a strength increase. So let's actually check to see what that strength increase is, just so we have the actual number. So 66 strength.
You will die by my hand.
Okay, so the key thing, though, for the stat increase from Lone Wolf is that it's not percentage based. So the game doesn't care if you're running 30% fewer units. It cares about like 3 less units. So stat increase per unit. All right, 66 strength to 68. So that's like a slight. And the evasion increase is nice too for dodging. I mean, that's like negligible, I guess, I would say. All right, let's start doing this nonsense. we're gonna create a death ball. So I'll show you what that is. He can move here. So the death ball is this exact team comp. Avlora is part of it because she can roam around or hang out with the death ball, and enemies just come to you and you just farm them, and you completely beat everything. Right now, Corinton's about to die because we weren't able to get Flanagan off in time, but we'll just in tandem Flanagan. And then this is what you do: you double items, very standard stuff. You can use large pellets to heal. Alright, then he's going to use Ramparts. Now everyone takes half damage. So this also works with her kit, with Avlora's kit. If she just hangs out next to Flanagan, she takes quartered damage, especially when below half. Like, she'll take quartered damage when at 50% or lower, otherwise half damage. So it kind of like preemptively makes her tanky. And then what you do with Corinton here is just spam Glacial Moon. I should have had that land on him so he got Nice Style, but it's fine. Okay, Avlora does not need to utilize Lone Wolf to be effective. She is good on a full team. She wants to run Res Earring at minimum and Endurance Earring if you have it. She just wants to catch Battery and spam Bloody Cross. And then on dead turns where she doesn't have anything to do, she can Spare No Effort for a slight strength increase or just use like a Spice, which is probably better to be honest. Like, I really see no upside to this. Doesn't seem to have increased her stats that much. All right, so here's why Bloody Cross is good. This is, if you're curious, this is why Death Ball with like Bloody Cross spam is good, because you just do shit like this. It knocks things back too, so it also kind of acts as like a distancing tool. I'm just gonna do this just to. This is optimal, but I want to get a nice tile down. I should have Glacial Moon better, but whatever. Okay. So, you can run her in this situation, like a Death Ball comp. You can try soloing, or alternatively, you can run her on a full team. She's better on defensive maps because her mobility isn't the best. Her mobility can be decent if you hit her with like Bird of Prey or Movement Bangle. Obviously, you could use Quahog Teleporter. You could use Hasabara and throw her. But generally, Maxwell is a better bruiser for like a flexible position. She's better in a static position with low unit count. And she'll generally outdamage Maxwell if she catches Battery and its low unit count. But under a normal situation, he's usually more consistent. So just some things to consider. You can run her for fun though. Honestly, this game is so easy on New Game Plus hard overall that everything is viable, so it doesn't really matter. But I feel like it's just relevant to mention the Maxwell shit because like he's just so much easier to use in terms of just like getting AoE damage out, and he just plugs into a team a little bit easier. That doesn't mean that Avlora is bad, it's just that if you're just looking for like a tanky bruiser, I would say Maxwell is a little bit more optimal. However, with a Rez Earring, she has passive Desperate Defense, which is nice, that's something Maxwell doesn't have. So, yeah, they're kind of focusing Crinton there. Okay, so one thing you can do with her when she's low on TP and you want to conserve TP is use Risky Maneuver. If you can hit something in the back with this, it's quite insane. So if I like go over to this guy, it's a lot of damage. She also deals more damage and lower her health. So as she loses health and starts to get, once she hits 50% or lower, she gets a damage increase, and once she hits 25% or lower, she gets a further damage increase. So if you have Geela Rez and Rez Earring on her, you can be really risky with the low health and really get away with some nonsense. And you also might have noticed that enemies are completely ignoring her because she has so much health and so much, like her stats are so high, they are avoiding targeting her specifically. Just gonna do that. This is the upside of deathball. It's like completely broken. You just keep spam healing everyone, and the enemies can't do anything to you. And then you just spam Glacial Moons, then you spam Bloody Crosses, and you just kill everything. And then you just have your boy maintain Rampart, and then he can also use items and attack. He can use like aerial assault and then return to the death ball. All right, so here is an example. So one thing you're going to want to get used to with her is Bloody Cross placement. So you can see here, I'm going to hit two things. I'm going to probably, actually I can't knock him off because that guy's in the way, and I think it only moves him back one square. But I could only really hit two things no matter where I position. Oh, actually, maybe I can hit three. This hits low. No, it doesn't hit that low. Most abilities that hit in a lane don't hit vertically very well. This is one of the upsides of like Glacial Moon and High Jump and stuff like this, is that it can hit vertically. So just something else to consider. So we can just Bloody Cross here. The other upside to Bloody Cross is it pushes things back. So the big upside of this whole strategy is that enemies are forced to come to you, and then she keeps pushing them back, buying your backline time, and also passively crowd controlling them. And then she just, you know, balls things up for Crinton to nuke, and she's totally fine. Okay. Okay, so she takes half damage from all sources. Alright, so she has Desperate Defense right now. So you can kind of see she's in a little bit of trouble, to be honest. She's really durable. In this setup, you do usually want to run Rez Earring. I'm just running these items just to kind of show like a different setup. What I could do here, I could shield her. Actually, I think she's fine. Just nuke some guys, I guess. Let's just kill this guy. Alright, great. Okay, so she does take half damage from all sources during Desperate Defense. So this is like one of the big upsides to her as a tank. It's basically like a passive Endurance Earring effect at all times when below half. So she doesn't have to like spec into it or anything. Alright, now we can rotate like this. Double items. I can hit her with this. Then hit these with this. So Medina's really good with her because she can just kind of throw an item, you know, double item spam is always good. And then with Serenoa being in the mix, he can do this and batter everyone, helping you get Glacial Moons off. Alright, in this situation, you have a few options. No Escape can hit two things. Sometimes it's good if you get a bunch of back crits. You're actually probably better off just throwing a stone here. You can't really risky maneuver anything. So like her sacking health here doesn't really make sense. So the thing that makes the most sense would probably just to be to throw a stone. And then just like push back. She can return to the deathball to get ramparts, so now she takes half damage baseline. Alright, so he needs to maintain shielding stance on Corinton. And then usually I maintain shielding stance from Serenoa to Flanagan, so that if Flanagan gets hit with magic, it's not a problem like it is right now, because currently we're running pretty low. Alright, so you can see how crazy Glacial Moon is. Plus the ice tiles, pushing enemies back and the ice tiles, it all adds up to reducing their effectiveness and range. Alright, so she's getting all these extra turns. This might be a situation to use no escape. So I can kill this guy. I can also trigger follow-ups, which is kind of cool. So I could do that. Let's do this for fun. No escape is a decent skill. Like, it also helps prevent things from getting to your team. Because it puts a -1 move debuff on things, combined with ice tiles, that's -2 movement, which is no joke. Like, that'll definitely add up. Serenoa can hawk dive things as needed if he needs to. So, for example, if I like run up here, hawk dive this battle mage just to remove the threat from Flanagan. That's more of a death ball thing. Alright, so Avlora has 2 abilities. You probably know that by now because I've gone over them, but Bloody Cross and No Escape. Bloody Cross, you know, huge big AoE, 4 TP, weapon skill, needs unlocked. No Escape reduces evasion and movement for 3 turns. It hits up to 3 things. And if you look at the damage of it, it's actually not bad when she's stat boosted. So in like Death Ball comp, it's pretty good. Obviously, if you're going to be soloing, the thing you'd probably want to do is Risky Maneuver spam and Bloody Cross. So there's that. Risky Maneuver is safe to use when you have Geela Rez, Endurance Earring, and Rez Earring. With this setup, you're basically almost unkillable. It's like not even funny, like how ridiculous that setup is. You just have you have 2 reses, and then every time you get below half health with Endurance Earring, and then you have the 2 reses, you take quarter damage, so you're very hard to kill. You can do something like this. Alright, then Flanagan. Alright, shielding stand. Alright, so things are looking okay. I'm gonna re-up this, because Ramparts still last for 2 turns. They love to kill Corinton, but if you nuke things as they approach you with this strategy, you can easily do fine. So like right here, I could do a no escape. I don't think I kill this one though. I could probably just throw an item. Like usually, if you can, you probably should just throw an item in most situations. Saving TP is insane. Probably throw Ice Stone. Yeah, because this guy still dies. So the result is the same, but now I just have TP to use Bloody Cross pretty soon instead. So Avlora does get a strength increase for 3 turns when killing foes via Prevail and Power Up, which is one of her passives. So it's just kind of like a nice thing to have. You know, it's just like a thing, it just kind of keeps her going. It's good to do before Bloody Crossing, like if you can get it, if you can set it up, or if you can just keep killing things with Bloody Cross. Okay, so it seems to just be +2 strength, which is, it's something, you know. I can't complain. I'll take anything. You know, give any free strength increase, it's fine. It'll increase your damage slightly. It's nice. Okay, so Avlora does have mobility issues to some degree. You can see here she excels defensively. As an attacker, if she has all the tank spam, she's fine to be an attacker. We're about to get a massive Bloody Cross off. Alright, maybe not. No, that guy moved there. It's gonna be not as massive. Unfortunately, at least we'll hit like 3 things, but there's gonna be more than that probably. Alright, we'll just get another Bloody Cross. You do get clash damage off of that, which is nice if you bounce into other enemies or if they hit like a wall or something. And then the thing Flanagan can do, he'll need to rampart here, but he can aerial assault, like spot heal and stuff like that. This is honestly, I think, like Avlora's best use case. For solo stuff, I think that's more of like a gimmick you can do. And it's fine, but It's not going to be how you're playing the game, very likely, unless you're already like an expert of the game and you played it for like a couple hundred hours or something, or beaten hard mode a few times. Let's hawk dive this guy. Okay, so Avlora can solo some maps in New Game Plus, possibly the entire game. From what I've seen, she probably can solo the entire game if you just run no units. The thing you'd have to do is like keep units safe. So like some maps have forced units, so that's like a consideration. Honestly though, like her damage output, if I'm being like completely honest about her as a unit, one reason I don't like to use her is because the opportunity cost of running her is that you usually have to run fewer units, and so many things are just better at AoE damage that it's usually not worth it. Like this would deal similar damage to her boosted power up, or her no escape, right? So it's like situationally useful or good in some ways, but it's like the opportunity cost of running the unit is so extreme. And opportunity cost is like, okay, if I'm going to run Avlora, that means I'm going to have to run fewer units, which means I have 5 less units now that could all be doing something. So they're like, it's not nothing. So deathball is viable and it is good and all these other things. But there's like a downside to it. It's not like pure upside. It can trivialize the game though, like don't get me wrong, it's definitely good. Alright. But one thing that is, so I want to go over like the use cases of Avlora. I think this is the best use case. But one of the main downsides is flexibility. Units like Roland, Hewitt, Maxwell, Milo, these are very flexible like attackers. Avlora is more of like kind of like tank attacker. Alright, let's see what we can get going here. See if this is lethal. The damage is good, but honestly Glacial Moon will out-damage like a low unit count Avlora because it hits more targets and it's more consistent damage. Alright, I'm gonna battle cry just to kind of prove this. She hits like, she was hitting like 130 or something on these. Then Glacial Moon. It's like similar damage, but there's like less risk. Like it's like way less risk. I mean, she's a fun unit to use in some cases, but high jump is definitely better overall, I would say. And I'm not like a huge Maxwell fan or something. I'm just like telling you how it is. Like that's just what, that's like if we're talking about objective damage numbers and stuff, like she does less damage than Maxwell and Corinton on average, for sure. Because you have to run fewer units, which is a loss of damage. We're going to have to be... Oh, wait, no, we can do this. Or head back to Ramparts. The thing about Deathball, though, is Avlora doesn't really... She can be used in Deathball, but you can use Deathball in a full team comp. Like, you don't have to run, like, a half team. You can just have Deathball be part of your team composition, and it's insane. Why have a 91% chance to hit when you can make it 100 with the stone? Alright, let's just kind of wrap up here. See if we can kill this guy in one hit. Sick. That looks impressive, like hitting a 250 like that. But you have to consider Frederica and Corinton can hit those with like Frosty Fetters and the other thing they do. Their ability. Look at this, dude. This is unreal. This is why like this ability is so broken. This is like the best AoE in the game. It's so absurd. It's too good. The range and the AoE, it's way too much. So you can kind of see they're ignoring Avlora and just focusing on everything else. He used a debuff, but whatever. He stands ready. Let's use Rampart, whatever. Alright, Medina. So I do want to give Avlora TP, but it'll be kind of risky to do, so some people will die basically. Alright, here we go. She is about to be focused. So we probably want to move. Throw like an item. I can throw this to set some fire tiles down. Alright, let's see what this guy hits. Okay, he doesn't hit at all. I'm going to move here. Alright, I don't... Alright, there is a mage, so we shielding stance. Plan again. But yeah, like deathball does not necessarily benefit from Avlora's presence. She can generally roam freely because of her stat boost. So it's not even the case that she is part of deathball. You could run Frederica instead, and it's arguably more effective because you just have insane poke damage. Like as things approach you, they're just getting nuked down and killed. So, and then if you wanted like a tanky unit, just max spell with Res Earring, and there you go. He has 2 reses. And you can also throw an Endurance Earring on him. Alright, so in this situation, you can have a decent Bloody Cross. The Clash might kill the healer, let's see. Yeah, or no, it didn't. That's unfortunate. I'll have her face this way. I'll just fast acting her for fun. Alright, what does Risky do? Risky back crits are decent, but I don't know. There are better things to run. I think that's why I stopped running her, and not because I'm running the most optimal like strategies. It's more of a thing. It's more of an issue of I like to run dynamic teams, and Avlora tends to be kind of slow in terms of mobility. Alright, what do we got? We have lethal on this guy. Can I delay him? Nope. Can I do anything to him? Kill the healer, I guess. Could have just threw a stone, though. The stones are OP. I don't know why that is. They're just too good. Alright, who are you attacking? Alright, he's going to check this out. I'm going to... Oh, I'm not on ice. Damn it. I was about to hit him with the thing. Let's Frosty Fetters him. Alright, let's see. Hits Corinter? Oh, that's surprising. He just suicided on... Oh, we won? Okay. I guess we won. But yeah, Deathball's insane. Avlora is good on low unit counts. If you just want to plug her into a team and you have Maxwell, he's just way more... He's just better. If you want to run both of them for irony or for, you know, just being silly because they, like, hate each other and stuff, fine. Go for it. Knock yourself out. Bloody Cross is decent, but I think... High jump is a little bit better, so if you want to just get off like just AoE melee damage spam and you want like a bruiser, because you have to consider like the mobility concerns. If you're turtling and you're just going to run Deathball, she's good. But arguably, I'm trying to think what's the best unit for Deathball aside from, like, let's say we remove Avlora from just like the fifth as the 5th in Deathball. It would have to be something that's like high impact. I feel like Frederica would be the next best thing. Just because her single target and her basic AoE is very powerful. She has really high magic. 62 with no items. Plus the damage increase from sun damage, like Clear Weather, which is most maps. Pillars of Fire is pretty good too. Probably Frederica. But that's it for the Advanced Avlora guide. Let me know if I missed anything. I think I hit most of the important stuff. But definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. I'm going to be covering all of the characters. I still have to finish the chapter guides. I do have the save files. I just have to beat the maps and then record it. So we're almost done covering all the stuff for this game I wanted to do. Maybe I'll do a challenge run where I like limit things or something. Like half unit count or something crazy. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for checking this out, and peace.